We have this ongoing discussion, I think, here at Growth Tribe, but also it just keeps going about generalists versus specialists. You sound like kind of a generalist, I have to say.
I am.
Kind of scary being a generalist, though, because there's a lot of unknown. What do you think the position of a generalist is on the job market today versus a specialist? Is it safer? Is it riskier? Are you more anti-fragile? Are you more adaptable? Are there more opportunities? Do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I think there's no clear answer. Look, I love being a generalist. I will always be a generalist, by also not by choice. It's just, I don't know something super well. I could just go and dive deep into something. It's a lot safer to be a specialist. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of appetite for like crazy rides and like not knowing what's next and like being open to crazy opportunities, I think being a specialist is just a very safe thing, at least for now, right? Depending on what you pick. Because if you're, so for example, if you're an engineering specialist, you continue, and you're continuously learning new engineering technologies and languages, then yeah, then you can pretty much find a job in a lot of places. Same with design, etc. When you're a generalist, it's a little scary because there's so many moments in a day when I think like I don't know anything. Like, what do I even know? I like kind of study philosophy, barely remember anything. Like, I'm Googling half the time. Like, why is it that like I can do this job and someone else can't do this job? And so there's a lot of moment of self-doubt. I think you need to be a lot better at talking about yourself and like presenting yourself intelligently because it's not super clear immediately from your resume necessarily what it is that you add to a company. You're not just like, I'm the best engineer there is. You're like, I'm a quick learner. I have this much experience. These are things I've done before that I couldn't do. So that means you can give me other things I don't know and I will figure them out. And I can work with a lot of different people. So designers, engineers, product managers, and cross-functional organizations. I'm very nimble and quick and I learn. So I think you need to be able to position yourself like that. Um, and you also, I think, as a generalist, need to rely on specialists. So if I join a new organization, for example, at Duolingo, I think I succeeded because I knew that the engineers were smarter in engineering than me, and the designers were smarter at design than me, and the PMs were better PMs than me. It's like I had a team of people who were better than me, not like as humans or as managers, but at the thing they were doing. And so I really needed to rely on their expertise and their opinion and cultivating their voices and letting them feel safe to speak in the team and like being the person who also like this was very useful for me at Duolingo, having social skills is very underrated, and communication skills, I think, is not is it's hard to be like I'm a good manager because I have good social communication skills, right? It sounds like you're good at being at a party, but when you're at a company and you're with a lot of engineers, in general, this is a stereotype, engineers tend to not have developed their social and communication and emotional skills as much as maybe other.
Recruitment.
Yeah. um yes. And so being able to draw people out of their shell and like get their expertise, get them to speak up is
Yeah.
a big part of being a manager and making people get along. And it really, like, really small example is like, if the designer says, here's the design we're going to do for this experiment, and you say, awesome, engineer, do this design, and they'll be like, great, right? That's a very easy way of going about that. You probably just lost 2 weeks of work, because if you go talk to the engineer and you start understanding kind of like, how much time is going to take you and why, he'll point out that like, well, these two animations here will take me an extra 3 days. And you're like, we don't need an animation. And you go back and you talk to the designer, and the designer said, no, I need this animation. It's like very important. And I'm like, okay, but how about we do that for like the second version of this? First version, minimal viable product, like keep
Yep.
it super simple. And like having that ability to go in between people and get them to communicate their problems, because the engineers would otherwise just be quiet and do their job. Like you're not gonna, I think that really helps.